Thanks for staying with us, starting with The Nation. Makinde leads Southwest PDP on IU must go call. Banks stop PTA, BTA payments in cash as scarcity persists. Police kill 5 kidnapped suspects. Police Commissioner Chair Smith resigns. Buyers of seized Lagos properties to pay 2001 price actually. Akeredolu Adebayo head teams for Tinubu, and Buhari to present budget to National Assembly next month. Okay, which story are we starting with, The Nation? Yeah, the federal government has ordered the buyers of 2 underpriced public properties in Lagos to pay the differentials of their real values as at 2001. So according to the Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, in a memorandum to the Federal Executive Council, he stated that the government was short-paid in that transaction on the properties seized by the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, the NDLEA. And he had to brief reporters after the FEC meeting in Abuja, saying that the properties, which was a 4-bedroom bungalow on Adeniyi Jones, Lagos, and a 5-bedroom duplex on Amada Sun Street in GRA, Ikoyi, Lagos, were sold for 2 million and 5 million each. And the government is now asking the buyers to pay 18 million and 20 million for the properties, being the cost that they were valued at in 2001, and said, though the proceeds of the drug crime was as a result of, the proceeds were as a result of the drug crime, however, the process did not follow, the process followed the NDLEA Act instead of the Financial Regulations Act, and that's why they paid that little amount of money. Now, going forward, it must follow the Financial Regulations Act so that you buy the property valued at the current price, and that's what they're going to be enforcing. Okay.
I've got commercial banks have mandated that travelers in need of dollars for PTA and BTA, that's the personal travel allowance and business travel allowance, would have to get travel debit cards going forward. There's a shift in policy where that has been announced by many banks, First Bank and Access Bank included, and this is to commence card-based dollar disbursement going forward. This came as a result of what they have termed, the banks have termed abuses by customers and clients, where you would get forex and then do not use it for the purpose for which you have collected it, or turn around and trade the funds at the black market. And also using the card, the travel debit cards, will help the banks to track forex transactions, stop fraudsters from abusing the system, and save scarce forex for the economy. There was a meeting that they had, all bankers, and they just explained the different ways that Nigerians, have been involved in fraudulent transactions concerning PTA and BTA. And I guess this,
I have 2 stories there. So Governor Makinde has joined Governor Wike in insisting that Senator Dr. Iyorchia Ayu must resign. According to Governor Makinde of Oyo State, he was saying that their presidential candidate from PDP is from the Northeast, the national chairman is from the North Central, and the Director General of the Atiku campaign organization is also from the Northwest. So that PDP must unite internally first before they think of uniting Nigeria. That if 2 brothers enter a room and they're not telling each other to, they'll come out laughing. That they must, within the party, unite and ensure that all the various regions are well represented. So it's also adding to Governor Wike's call for Dr. Ayu, to Senator Ayu, to step down and resign. Atiku has responded, said that the only way Ayu can respond if it is done democratically. So you can't just say step down. There has to be an internal process of stepping him down. The other story I had is Governor Akeredolu and others have come together to have a reconciliation committee, and they're insisting that what happened to Chief M.K. Abiola and Chief Awolowo must not happen in the time of Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, that now that the Southwest has an opportunity to have the presidency, that the one must come together to support his candidacy, that we must not allow what happened to these other gentlemen in the past should happen. We must not lose this opportunity again now that the power is coming Southwest, not just because it's the Southwest, but because they're competent and he knows and he has capacity to do the job. Moving on quickly now to The Punch. PDP crisis, Atiku Wabara meet aggrieved governors. Makinde demands Ayu's exit. Picture here, Ekiti Road collapse. Motorists groan, seek government intervention. Customs intercept 80,000-litre tankers carrying dirty diesel. Hashtag ENDSARS panel awards 289 million naira compensation to 74 victims. Tackle insecurity, can Anglican primate tell federal government? Senate to scrap over 400 MDAs in 2023. Bank deposits rise by 24% to 42 trillion naira. PSC chairman Smith resigns amidst police recruitment crisis. And pro-chancellors VCs intervene as ASU 7-1 strike continues.
Yes.
Okay.
So in Abuja, the ENDSARS panel that was set up to probe the allegations of human rights violations by the defunct SARS and other units of the police, Nigerian police, have finally awarded 74 victims 298 million naira. There was a ceremony where families of the victims were there and they were handed a dummy check for that. The compensation in the judgments, according to the commission, were awarded in cases bordering on extrajudicial killing, unlawful arrest and detention, cruel, inhuman and degrading treatment and torture, alleged enforced disappearance and confiscation of property, amongst others. I like this. The commission's executive secretary said that by this, government is acknowledging its mistake and is ready to assuage the victims' families. He said the ceremony is to tell you we have acknowledged the violation of your rights and we're putting this forward in good faith to say we are sorry. The amount paid today will not solve all the problems, but to ensure that where there is violation of rights, there must be a remedy. And that's the Executive Secretary, Anthony Ojukwu, that's the Executive Secretary of the Commission. And I love that. And then one of the families represented too was asked, and he says this money does not in any way directly compensate for the lost soul, but at least it gives the family some sort of closure.
That reminds me of the video you sent, because it's not so much about the money. It's the fact that the intention. That should have made front page.
Acknowledge.
I wish somebody made that front page, because that is exactly the succor people need. Not so much your money, but the fact that you say, I am sorry.
Sorry.
That should have made front page.
Yeah.
True.
Go ahead. Let's take another.
So a portion of the Ado-Ilawe Road serves as the alternative route from Ado-Ekiti, Ekiti State to Akure, Ondo State, collapsed yesterday, and motorists were just trying to find their way around. They said the road caved in. The motorists had to start looking for alternatives to go to their various destinations. And so one of the reasons the road caved in was because water from the nearby rocks penetrated beneath the road. And you know, the picture story there was very deplorable. So the citizens of that area are calling out to the federal government and calling the state government to do something about this road, because they are going to be in serious hardship and looking for alternative routes. And those alternative routes are not even good enough for motors to ply on. However, the Alawe of Ilawe Ekiti, Oba Adebanji Alabi, visited the scene, sympathized with the road users, and saying that he will add his voice to get the state government to do something about.
Oh, your Yoruba has improved.
My mom is Ekiti. I am Olabisi.
Okay, so we the people have started again. Oh, we the people. The Nigerian Customs Service intercepted 2 tankers laden with poor diesel. They said that the acting customs area controller in charge of that area, Hussein Ajibunu, disclosed this while handing over the products to officials of the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Agency. These 2 trucks had poor diesel, and the documents supporting that diesel was fake.
Wow.
They couldn't trace it at all in the system, and it was such poor diesel that it was about to be taken for distribution with the people. Later they say it's government that did it. How are you able to sell with fake documentation to cargo fake poor diesel?
Yeah.
Then you can't sell that to some people, and then what happens? Moving on to Daily Sun. Makinde Southwest PDP give Atiku conditions. 2023 elections, Buhari counts on God's will. Ex-IGP Musiliu Smith resigns as PSC chairman. I don't understand how Musiliu and Smith come together in one name. It's okay. Supreme
English
Court
and
declares
Lagos State names now.
Musiliu Smith.
Yeah, I know, English and local.
He doesn't because he didn't jail, but it's okay. Supreme Court declares Odi Ifeanyi PDP Guber candidate for Ebonyi. ASU strike, NANS threatened to shut down. Nigeria takes protest to Ibadan. President to present the 19.76 trillion naira budget in October, says Gbajabiamila. And INEC under pressure confesses Yakubu. Okay, which story are we starting with?
INEC?
Yeah.
So Mahmood Yakub, that's the chairman of the commission, INEC, is saying that deployment of technology in the conduct of elections has exposed INEC to greater public scrutiny and intense pressure. There are a lot of things they're going to be handling: voter population, number of polling units, election personnel, security considerations, logistics, and so much, and everything is just so enormous. But however, the use of technology is going to definitely approve and show transparency in the results and the conduct of the election. But they are just asking that a lot of people get ready for this particular election. They have a lot to do, and they are getting ready as well.
Okay, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue with our review. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Okay, we continue with the review in Sun. Yes, go ahead.
Yes. So the National Association of Nigerian Students are threatening to shut down Nigeria. They've been protesting. They had done one a few days ago. They started at Shagamu Interchange section of the expressway inward Lagos, where they blocked it, holding placards. You know, just talking about the fact that they've been home for 7 months, and it's quite embarrassing to have Nigerian students denied education for that long. And for them, it just seems like the government and the ministers involved, Chris Ngige and Adamo, are not really giving their best to see that this issue is resolved. And so the Nigerian Association of Nigerian Students are saying they're taking this all the way to the villa. Just in connection to this, because the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway was blocked as a result of this protest. There was serious traffic jam as a result of this protest. The Minister for Works and Housing was being asked by journalists about the construction work going on, and he's asking Nigerians to be more patient. He says that the honest truth is that the part of the work that's done on the part of the expressway right now is largely a built area, and there are no alternative routes, you know, through these built areas to the expressway, and he's just asking for Nigerians to be patient. And he also referred to the protest by the Nigerian Association of Nigerian Students, and saying that National Association of Nigerian Students, sorry, he's saying to them that he respectfully, he says, he understands their plight, and people constitutionally have the right to protest, but not to the point where you make it inconvenient for other Nigerians to go about their business. And I mean, I hear him, and that is true. But ASU, federal government, we need, I mean, how long are we going to continue this strike? It's 7 months going on, and more. What are we going to do? Are we just going to keep protesting, talking on the newspaper? What is supposed to be the end result of this ASU strike?
My sister, we're looking unto God.
So I was going to take the possibility, the story concerning the possibility that they might be scrapping 400 MDs out of the 541. This is as a result of the implementation of the Oronsoye panel. If you recall, I remember that Oronsoye panel committee report that was saying that we should retain the 106 MDAs because to reduce the cost of governance. And one of the spokesperson here from the federal ministries, trying to remember, Olamilekon Adeola, he is the chairman of the Senate Committee on Finance, on Finance, and he was saying that, listen, we cannot continue this way. A ministry that gets 500 million, for example, is remitting 5 million naira as revenue. That doesn't work. You know, we have to really come down. So we're here running 541 MDs. I mean, we might have to scrap all of that and bring it down because we can't afford it.
Shrink.
I mean, so it's a conversation that is interesting. I've not read the full report, but the few headlines there was really interesting to me. But
the question would not be, where will you not put the civil servants that you remove from those agencies? We need to discuss this.
So that's a whole different conversation. There was a lot of recommendations made in that panel, that Oronsoye panel. So
that may sort them out.
Hopefully that will be resolved. But the speaker, Honorable Speaker Gbajabemila, has said that the president would get the new budget, the 2023 budget, in October, the 19.76 trillion naira budget. He was saying this while he was inspecting the work being done at the National Assembly. If you recall, quite a lot of money was budgeted for the renovation of the National Assembly. They're currently using a temporary place site, but hopefully they're saying that by the 10th Assembly, the new building will be ready for use. But they're pretty proud of the work that's been going on, and they feel that it's going to be something that is world-class, and at least it will be proud of as a National Assembly.
Quickly before you move on, now, our president is calling us to pray. for God's will in the coming elections. Everybody needs to go and pray. And he said this at the opening of the Church of Nigeria Anglican Communion Standing Committee meeting yesterday in Abuja.
President Buhari.
Yes, President Buhari, saying that, the elections are coming. Nigerians need to put heads together, pray, ask for the will of God to happen.
He stated himself was the spokesperson.
The president has called us to pray, Morayo, and we are going to pray. He also said that he's in
because
support.
he was at the church event.
Yes, he was there. He was there.
in keeping.
He was there. That's what we want to see. That's our
According
president.
to the report, he was there and he says they should pray.
Okay.
Pray for your country, Nigeria. Morayo, take the lesson and move on.
I'm just saying that, we want to see our president. We want him to be visible and want him to speak to us. So I don't like when we get additional telling us.
And they didn't mention additional
He was there and fantastic. I didn't see the report. Moving on quickly now to Vanguard. Niger Delta militants at war over pipelines contract. PDP crisis, you must go, says Makinde. I'm awaiting military's response to attack on Uba, says our President Buhari. Old Port Harcourt refinery will become functional by December this year, says federal government. JAM 6 hike in registration fees to 5,000 naira. Nigeria not on track to meet many MDGs by 2030, says United Nations. Go ahead.
The major headline. So, militant leaders of the Niger Delta region are currently at war over the 4.5 billion monthly pipeline surveillance contract awarded to the former leader and the movement of the emancipation of Niger Delta, that's MEND, government, Ekpemu Polo, popularly known as Tom Polo, by the federal government, with Asari Dokubo yesterday, who was alleging that Tom Polo bluntly refused to involve him and other ex-militants in the $144 million coastal protection contract by the ex-president, Goodluck Jonathan. So they said they've had issues with him. There was a time the former President Jonathan called for a meeting and gave that contract, and he took it. And by the time they asked Jonathan said the contract is for all of you. But he was just paid the money directly, and he said he was not going to do that business with them. So they are really upset, saying that they're not going to have a conversation with him, that he has been sidelining his people for a very long time. So different groups are wading into the conversation and trying to see how they can resolve them. I wanted to get the names of, the Pan-Niger Delta Forum, PANDEF, is trying to, resolve the issue. The South Regional Group and Ijon National Congress, INC, are also trying to resolve the issue and see how they can bring them at a round table, have conversation, see how they can do this job without sidelining anyone.
Okay, so what I understand, this contract is for the security of our pipeline. Yeah. So what they're asking, is it that they're also going to be part of performing these duties and so want payment for it, or what is it? Does the payment come before the job, or the job comes?
No, I think because all of them basically do the same thing. They have their boys. They have everybody has like their faction, and they are all there to see how they can protect the pipeline. So, but one person now seems to be getting more of the contract and sidelining every other person. So they will always have aggrieved parties, because some of these pipelines go through their own different villages and communities.
Are they protecting them?
Okay, well, we don't know. We haven't got the answers.
So JAM is seeking to increase their fees. It's asking that the fees be increased from 3,500 to 5,000. The registrar had said that when he first came in 2016, the JAM fees were 5,000, and that 5,000 had been paid 5 years, And then when he came in 2016, they were able to remit to the government 7.5 billion. And because of that amount, they realized, they could reduce the fees to 3,500. And so far, so good. But the economic realities of today, it's important that they hike these prices back to 5,000. So that, he also mentioned that really nowhere else in the world does government fund these sort of exams. But federal Nigeria and maybe Finland is doing that, but cannot continue to do this at that price.
Especially the economic realities in our country.
Oh, wow.
So after the FEC meeting yesterday, the Minister of State, that's Chief Timipre Sylvia, was saying yesterday that the Port Harcourt refinery will be ready by December. He he was being asked on the updates of all the various refineries. He says that the Warri refinery and Kaduna refinery are still ongoing and they'll be ready soon, but he's very sure that the Port Harcourt one that has the capacity to produce 60,000 barrels per day will be ready by this December. If you recall, we've been trying to get our refineries to be refurbished and start working. So we have to continue to import so many barrels from other countries. So hopefully, if that helps, it reduces what we're importing by 60,000 barrels per day. Okay, let's find another story. I think that's all we can take. Is there any other we've lost? Nobody took Nigeria not on track to meet SDGs.
No. You know, I looked for that story on the page.
It wasn't there.
Yeah.
Okay, The Guardian, we can't take it. Let me just mention the headline. Energy crisis forces Nigeria's 43 million households to spend 8.9 trillion naira per year. Southwest PDP resolves to back Atiku as Makinde insists Ayu must go. Buhari's Imo visit waste of resources, says citizens. And Police Service Commission Chairman Smith resigns amid recruitment controversy. Let me take this day very quickly. 2023, Ayu must go, Southwest PDP tells Atiku. Sanwo-Olu wins award for exceptional contribution to infrastructure development. Embattled Chairman of Police Service Commission Musiliu Smith resigns. And Port Harcourt Refinery will resume production by December. We're taking most of those stories already. That's all we can take on Front Page Review. When we come back, we'll bring in our friends from FBN Quest. Stay with us. We'll be right back.